came across this article talking about how Bitcoin was a pyramid scheme. Now, that's a pretty rough way to start off the new year, because that's a pretty strong accusation on an investment that many people here in our community are bullish about. Many smart people in our community have been dumping money into it, and I've gotten some questions on what I think of cryptocurrency as well. So we're going to watch this economist's interview and his reasons against Bitcoin, and then we're going to play some devil's advocate and we're going to read some of the pros of cryptocurrency as well. And then finally, I will be giving my 2 cents on what I think about Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. We're going to be using those interchangeably here. So this economist's name is Tende Kapfidze. Probably definitely pronouncing that incorrectly, but he is the lead chief economist at LendingTree, which is America's largest online lending marketplace. So he has a little bit of credibility behind him. This isn't just some random keyboard warrior, as you can see down here in the comments. He's not just writing some angry post, but shout out to all the angry keyboard warriors, especially the ones that always comment on my channel. So let's take a look at what he had to say.
There's the first use case
of blockchain,
right?
That's a blockchain is not crypto.
Correct.
So where do we go from here with these cryptocurrencies? I just heard you say there's something here, but I don't know what it is. I'm thinking of investors. You clearly went in knowing you could lose the money, but there's something here. I don't know what it is. Not that in this case.
I know exactly what's there. It's a pyramid scheme. You only make money based on people who enter after you. It has no real utility in the world. They've been trying to create a utility for it for 10 years.
First sale was pizza.
For 10 years now.
10,000 Bitcoin.
So it's a solution in search of a problem, and it still hasn't found a problem to solve.
Well, I don't know if I agree with that. I don't think it's a pyramid scheme. I think those are very, very different, number one. Number two, you're partially right in the sense that we haven't fully identified what problem it solves. But if you think about it as real advocates would say, there's an equal amount of problems with the current currency systems in terms of the manipulation that goes on there. Right? What central banks are doing is not exactly natural.
We saw, didn't someone manipulate the mid-year the price of Bitcoin?
Yeah.
Didn't one player manipulate it?
They don't know if it was one player or multiple players, but there's clear manipulation, which is why, again, I say it's speculative. I don't think you go into it thinking that you're going to become a billionaire or a millionaire as a result of it. You go into it very soberly, understanding that you can lose all of your principal and that this is purely speculative. For me, it's also a way to get educated on it. I didn't put a whole lot of money at risk here that is going to make a difference if it goes to zero. But to me, if you want to learn about it, you've got to own it, because that's the only way you're going to truly educate yourself and pay attention.
Yeah. It's a scam. It doesn't mean everybody in it is a scammer, but it's a scam.
Well, why? But why do you think it's a scam? Because there are people who are sort of true believers, right? Who say that
Winklevoss twins.
Well, or all the other people who are buying this stuff because they think that it's going to replace fiat and sort of be the new system of global currency at some stage.
So think of all the intellectual power and energy and time that has been put into Bitcoin over the past 10 years, right? And what do we have on the end of it? We've got nothing. I guess maybe at some point somebody's going to come up with some, utility or some useful way to utilize it. But so far, despite thousands of people trying and, thousands of people advocating for it and people trying all types of different things, we still have nothing. So that makes me skeptical.
All right, now here's an article on why Bitcoin is not a pyramid scheme, and as you can tell by the website name, this is obviously going to be a little bit biased, but that's the point here, is to get another perspective. So it says here, in the past 11 years, Bitcoin has traveled a long way from an unknown new invention to the largest cryptocurrency in the world with a market cap of over 130 billion. But there's still people who think that they are a pyramid scheme and a scam. So then here it talks about the person we just saw who spoke. And then he basically said that the only way that people can make money is depending on how many people entered the market after them. He also claimed that there's really no utility for Bitcoin in the world, and that it's been over 10 years and there really still is not a solution in search of a problem, and it still hasn't found a problem to solve in general. So here it gives a little bit more about the history of Bitcoin and peer-to-peer electronic cash systems, introduced at the end of 2018, and then its creator, who is actually an anonymous person, nobody actually knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. The real identity of him is unknown. And then over the years, it just slowly kept attracting new users, traders, and investors. They like all the ideas behind cryptocurrency. It's global, borderless. I think most of all, it's decentralized and allows you to send money whenever you want. And then Bitcoin also increases security and the speed of transactions, as no single centralized entity is responsible for making it work. And then this is the part where I personally heard about Bitcoin, and this is probably where most people heard about it that weren't in on it on its early days, is when it reached its all-time high of $20,000 in late 2017. That's when institutions really started to pay attention to it as well, fearing that it had potential to go mainstream and take away clients and their money. Yeah, that's when you really start to pay attention, is when your rivals have a chance at taking away your customers, and then you would be losing money. So Bitcoin is definitely not perfect. It's still pretty young. It's incapable of scaling, and it's extremely volatile. And that's why this particular author thinks it's not a pyramid scheme. All right, here we are on cryptocurrencyfacts.com. What a great name for a website there. Definitely going to be getting some hard-hitting facts, some pros and cons about cryptocurrency here. For every pro, every benefit, there's definitely a downside as well. So here we start off with most cryptocurrencies are built from the bottom up with security and privacy in mind, but then secure and private transactions can also lead to making it easier for people to skirt the law. Cryptocurrency is legal, and if it's claimed correctly for tax purposes, opens up another avenue for transactions, but then the value of cryptocurrency changes, and laws on how to claim them are still a little bit fuzzy at this particular time. Cryptocurrency has low transaction costs, but then cryptocurrency is also only accepted by a certain amount of vendors. I personally have not seen many vendors offering cryptocurrency as a form of payment, but then again, I usually don't seek that out, so I probably would not have noticed. Cryptocurrency is found through a process of mining, and it makes it anyone with access to a computer and the internet can make money off mining coins. But then again, cryptocurrency mining is very CPU intensive. Most average computers would not work for this particular purpose. That's why I love NVIDIA stock, because the reason why their stock actually went up so much was because they have the technology that allows people to be mining for cryptocurrencies. So glad to drop a little bit of an NVIDIA reference in there. Okay, so cryptocurrency market is very volatile, but it can be a high reward, high risk investment. And a downside is, since the cryptocurrency market is so volatile, the amount of the value of the coins can change wildly in a short amount of time. So in 2014, we saw the value of Bitcoin go from $30 to $1,000, but then in early 2018, we saw the price of Bitcoin also drop considerably as well. So cryptocurrency makes trading anywhere in the world easy. This is a pretty big key that I always see people making the argument for cryptocurrency, is that it's a decentralized currency. And this opens up for financial options for people in countries that don't have access to financial services. So I don't really think that's going to be too big of an issue here in America, but definitely for my friends watching in different countries, that can definitely be an issue. And then downside is that the coin you trade for is a legal thing today, can be used for illegal things tomorrow. So of course we had the Silk Road, which was available online for black market transactions, and the founder of the Silk Road actually is serving a life sentence now. So I'm not sure if that was worth it for them, but that's why the maker of Bitcoin is, nobody knows his name. Probably doesn't want to serve a life sentence somewhere down the road. Okay, so transactions are quick using cryptocurrencies, but if a transaction does go wrong, there's really no way to recover it. And then another big one for people is that no other entity controls your money or its value. As well as cryptocurrency isn't inflationary, so we always criticize the Federal Reserve for how much they are causing inflation, but you can't really do that with cryptocurrency because there's only a finite amount of them to begin with. And of course, cryptocurrency is very anonymous and allows you to have more privacy, but then some privacy coins aside, cryptocurrency is not totally anonymous. The public ledger system might provide other insights into previously unknown economic activity since it's kind of all out there. Then we also have that there's never been a history of a hack in the Bitcoin network to this day. So that can be attributed to the founders' focus on the problem from the get-go. For example, a major feature of the Bitcoin network is how the system prevents double spend attacks. And then cryptocurrency is software-based. Software in general can be hacked in the future just because it hasn't been hacked yet and have bugs. And then, although Bitcoin's network has never been hacked in large part due to its design, exchange, wallets, software, and other cryptos can be subject to hacks. Now, what do I think of cryptocurrencies and their future? Now, I can definitely see this being a polarizing topic. There's obviously, as we already went over, pros and cons, and people will have their opinions on both extremes. So be sure to let me know in the comments what you guys think, because that's what I really want to find out. And, make sure you are hitting that subscribe button, but I have a feeling that some people might hit the unsubscribe button based on what I'm going to be saying. So I think I'm going to actually have to agree with Mr. 10-Day on this one.
Return, you're lying, the stock market doesn't go up 7% every year, just like Russell.
So I'm not super bullish on cryptocurrencies, and I think I'm going to be giving some reasons why. The first reason is because it is a pretty hard concept for most people to understand. Talking about cryptocurrency, I don't think most Americans even have any idea where our US dollar bills come from. And here in the investing community, we might have a more broad understanding of the Federal Reserve. At least I personally feel I can understand the basics, but the Federal Reserve is very complex, and I wouldn't be surprised if most people had no idea what their function is. And having someone explain what a decentralized financial system is that's stored via blockchain is going to be adding to the complexity. That's why I don't think most people will be able to get behind something like cryptocurrency just because it is so complex to understand. And people, at the end of the day, I don't believe should be investing in things that they don't understand. The second reason is the lack of security and insurance. So unlike money you have sitting in your savings account, cryptocurrency is not yet FDIC insured. Although that doesn't mean that that will never happen in the future, it just isn't as of today. And we already have instances of scammers using cryptocurrency to steal hard-earned money from victims. Another reason is because users get to hide under the blanket of being anonymous. So we've already touched that this could be a pro, as with basically all these reasons. There's obviously two sides to each of them. So that's great that we may finally get some privacy from all these apps constantly tracking and collecting our data. So being anonymous can lead to crypto being used heavily in the black market, and banks are constantly monitoring our bank accounts for any irregularities and criminal signs of activity. So physical cash is a bit harder to monitor, but think about how much harder cryptocurrency is to monitor. That's going to basically be impossible. And the biggest detriment to cryptocurrency I see is government intervention. Do you guys really think that Uncle Sam is just going to be okay with you spending money and then them possibly not getting their cut? I mean, this is the United States we're talking about. I'm surprised they haven't even taxed breathing air yet. Maybe California will be the first in the nation to do that. What's stopping a country from just outright banning cryptocurrency one day? Who gets the last word, you or the government? The IRS might as well just be called the cryptocurrency busters. Now, don't get me wrong, there certainly can be some positives with crypto, especially in a country where the government is unstable or corrupt. And me having the privilege of growing up in the US, I have experienced corruption, but not corruption to the point where the money in my wallet might be worthless. I still think that future advancements in crypto are coming one day, but right now, I still see the value of cryptocurrency being nothing more than just hype. And unlike stocks, there isn't necessarily any real value behind it. We still use fiat currency everywhere. Speculation is just too rampant in this industry. Unlike stocks, which have to follow strict SEC regulations about how the company is doing every quarter, crypto does not meet every quarter to tell us how many new iPhones or Teslas it sold. No business is backing up its performance. When people lose the hype and the belief in Bitcoin, the price will fall, and some investors will lose money. The only way that price goes back up is if new investors join in and jack up the price. Rinse and repeat. That sounds awfully like a pyramid scheme to me. Now I know I have some angry viewers, but be sure to let me know in the comments what you're thinking, and I will get back to you. And if you could find it in your heart to smash that like button, even after I've made you super angry, please do so. It really helps out this channel.